Dozens of workers for airline catering companies are rallying for livable wages and for health care. This was the scene outside American Airlines corporate headquarters in Dallas, Texas last week. More than 50 people were arrested during the three-day demonstration, and it seems that the movement is just beginning.
According to the labor union Unite Here, catering workers are planning a large-scale strike if their demands are not met. And joining us to discuss this and expand on the workers' demands is Unite Here member Tenae Stover. She's worked for LSG Sky Chefs at Reagan National Airport for the past 3 years. Tenae, we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you work at Reagan National, but this is a nationwide fight. Just bring our viewers a little bit up to speed who have not been following this closely. What's going on?
Okay, so as I mentioned, I work at Sky Chefs in DCA, Reagan National Airport. I've been there for 3 years, but there's thousands of workers who work for LSG Sky Chefs, which is an airline catering company. So we cater all airlines, but our major is American Airlines, and that's why we're focusing on American Airlines. We are fighting because we're up for a contract. We've been in the fight with Sky Chefs and American Airlines since the beginning of this year. We're proposing $15 starting off, health care and the pension. Most of the workers all over make as less as $9 and some change.
Wow.
While we're still living in low poverty wages, American Airlines is making $1 billion in profits from off of the work that we do. The conditions there are not in its best. They have workers still working in the coolers with 40 and below degree temperature. Some of the conditions of the trucks where some of the drivers transported isn't in its best conditions. We don't have all of the equipment to successfully complete our job. So we're just asking for American Airlines and Sky Chefs to hear us out, but they haven't been doing those things.
So Tenae, have they offered any sort of counter offer, or are they just saying no, the wages are going to stay the same, the health care is going to stay the same, and the pension situation is going to stay the same?
They're saying no to the pension. They're saying no to the health care. All they did propose was 30 cents this year and 30 cents next year.
For an increase in the wage.
For an increase in the wage. And while the economy is rising, we're still living in low poverty wages. As I mentioned, workers across the country make as less as $9 and some change an hour. That's not enough to be able to afford to live, to be able to make ends meet. For me, I'm in this fight specifically because I was personally affected by the low poverty wages that American Airlines and Sky Chefs are giving to their workers. 2 years ago, I was evicted from my place because Sky Chefs and American Airlines don't pay their workers enough. The health insurance is very expensive. For a family, it's like $100 and something every week. It's almost $500 a month.
Wow.
And if you do the math, I'm saying $9 and some change plus health insurance. That's somebody's whole paycheck.
That's your whole paycheck.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't
just
live
for
on
health
that.
insurance alone.
And listen, I mean, we live in this area. We know how expensive it is.
It's very expensive.
You can't live on $9 an hour or anywhere close to that.
Nope, you cannot.
Now, workers have already taken a vote to authorize a strike. These negotiations have been going on for a while. I mean, where do you think this is headed?
So it's been ongoing. We took our strike vote in June where we had a 100% yes to go on strike. It's a national airline catering fight, so all the workers all over at different Sky Chefs also took votes as well. It's still ongoing, but we have been taking action. You showed the video last week. We were in Texas where almost 60 workers got arrested. We really want to let it be known to American Airlines and people all over that one job should be enough, that we deserve the 15, the health care and the pension. And we're not going to stop until we get it. We also had an action in the airport at DCA July the 23rd where we had politicians there like Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, just to mention a couple that were out there who supported us in this fight that we're in right now with American Airlines and with Sky Chefs.
Have you been arrested?
I did. I went out there specifically to get arrested. I definitely want to be a part of the fight that we're in. I really want to make it clear that we're fed up. We can't continue to sit back and not respond to the fact that they don't think that we're worth what we're asking for. We're worth the 15, the health care and the pension.
And as I understand it, Tenae, airline caterers are some of the lowest paid employees at airports broadly. So you're just asking for some sort of parity for the people that get paid there, right?
Yes, we're the lowest paid workers in airline catering.
Wow, that's unbelievable. What's morale like with workers right now? Are spirits high, or is there frustration? How are people feeling?
So it's a little bit of both. They, as I mentioned, are fed up, so they're in the fight for the long haul, but they're definitely upset about the fact that we have to go through all of this for American Airlines and Skyships to hear us out, and they're still refusing to respond to us.
And if you didn't have a union, what would the situation look like?
Oh man, it would be horrible. If it was up to them, they wouldn't want a union. They actually would be doing a little bit more worse than what they're doing right now. Like with the help of the union, we're actually at least being able to sit at the table with them to discuss something.
Tenae, what are the next steps for the strike and for your movement?
So we took the strike votes, but we still have to be released by the mediator. So we're hoping that either American Airlines and Skyships sit at the table and negotiate something with us with the ongoing negotiations that we're in, or we're going to continue to take it to the airports to delegate them to picket until we get what we deserve.
And how are you doing? Were you able to find a new place?
No, so I'm still unable to afford living on my own. With the airport minimum wage rising to 12 something, I was at least able to go to $13 an hour. But as you mentioned, you're from here, this area, live in this area, you know that it's still not enough. So
not enough.
Still unable to afford living on my own, even though I want to live on my own.
Tenae, keep us updated. Thank you so much. We're really grateful for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next on Rising, no pay, we stay. It's what dozens of miners said when their former employer refused to pay millions worth of wages.
And a month later, they are still blocking a train full of coal. We're going to get an update from the ground in eastern Kentucky when Rising returns.